If you enjoyed Force of Nature, you'll certainly enjoy this next installment of Angry Planet. It's happening on Sunday evening, 7 and 10 p.m. And here's a sneak peek of what to expect. All right, again, it's 7 and 10 p.m. this Sunday, so check it out. Meanwhile, you saw the rain shut down some subway and transit stations as well. All right, but we are not talking about the rain. We are talking about the snow. And Kevin Yard, he's at the snow show. Here he is. Snow, really? I'm not sure if I want to be thinking about the snow yet, but hey, you got to be prepared. It's inevitable, right? It's coming. And so are more rain showers. In fact, I'm going to get out of the way here and could still pick up less than 10 millimeters of rain in southern Ontario. To the north, though, heavier amounts because that's where the center of the low is headed. In fact, I'll show you where it's going to the north and to the east as usual, but it's a more northerly direction now, hence all the rain to the north. Your next trough of instability moves in late day and also through the overnight. Saturday morning, we're still expecting some lingering showers, but then clearing out. Still could be a pretty cloudy day and temperature is a little bit cooler for your Saturday. All right, there's a reason why we showed you that. If you were in the city of Toronto last night, you saw we experienced flash flooding myself, but I wasn't one of those unfortunate cases. A few cars certainly submerged. It was particularly bad in the DuPont-Davenport area. Meanwhile, the water has subsided and now we're thinking about snow. Yeah, believe it or not. Kevin Yard, he is at the snow show. I should just speak for myself, but I know Kevin, he's not the best at skiing either, so him and I could both use lessons at the snow show happening all weekend long. Less than 10 millimeters of rain still to come for us through your Saturday, and the majority of this will be arriving through the evening and the overnight hours. I'll show you how this is playing out. Another trough of instability, another round with the same low pressure system, by the way. That's going to be moving through this evening and overnight. Like I mentioned, less than 10 millimeters of rain. Still some lingering showers for the morning hours, and then high pressure comes into play for your Sunday. Chillier weekend, though. Thanks to Jacqueline for that. And there's a reason why we showed you that in particular. Today is the 25th anniversary of the devastating magnitude that happened in the Banff area. But now shifting gears from seismic activity to snow activity. Here's Kevin Yard at the snow show. That just always does it. Get a cute kid dressed well, thumbs up, so cute, Maddox. And I love the bright colors myself, huh? All right, so we are still expecting, well, less than 10 millimeters of rain over the next 24 hours. And here's why. Still another round of instability, another trough moving through the region as a result of that same low pressure system that's been upon us for days, it seems. All right, so you can see that moisture coming in through the evening hours for the GTA in southern Ontario, lasts through the overnights. And then in the wee hours of the morning, it will be clearing out. A little chillier tomorrow. If you enjoy Force of Nature, you're going to love this next installment of Angry Planet. It's happening Sunday evening, 7 and 10 p.m. here Eastern Time. All right, here, let's get a sneak peek. I love the reaction. Okay. Again, Sunday night, 7 and 10 p.m. Meanwhile, what a weather day it was yesterday. Of course, period of time, and you could see cars completely submerged. All right. Now, going from this active weather to snow, Kevin Yard is at the snow show. It's basic. Yes. All right. Hanging on to those umbrellas as Kevin had suggested, but it's more so late day that we're expecting less than 10 millimeters of rain. Here's how it's playing out with this next round of instability. There's a trough that's developing in behind that system. So just some light showers through the evening, the overnight, lasting for the morning, but clearing quite nicely during your Saturday morning. Still cloudy conditions into the afternoon, and it is going to be a gusty one. 30K winds, gusts potentially higher than that. And then high pressure comes into place. And then we've got, well, temperatures going down. And there's a good chance that this hurricane that's right now brewing in the Atlantic, it's set to hit on the track, could be potentially devastating for the province of Newfoundland, but it also could be just like a regular low pressure system. So we're following this story, and we've got several reporters there live. But then it's ups to an 80% pop chance of precipitation into the evening hours, but we're not picking up a whole lot of rain. We're talking about less than 10 millimeters of rain with this. So see this red line, that's your trough of instability. It's developing in behind that low pressure system. That's been giving us a lot of rain, right? And the localized flooding yesterday. And that will be passing through the GTA in southern Ontario this evening through the overnight. Still some passing showers in the morning, clearing out though through the afternoon. storm watch coverage now as Hurricane Gonzalo makes its way closer to the island of Bermuda. Of course, it's going to be affecting us also, and we'll get to that story very shortly. But first, well, Hurricane Gonzalo forecasted to hit the island directly this evening. We're talking about a major hurricane. Winds in excess of 200 kilometers an hour are expected to reach the island. Now, we're going to get a personal account of how people are preparing for the hurricane. We now have Vanessa Daniel on the line. She's a local resident. She's been through this before. Now, Vanessa, I'm sure you're familiar with the magnitude and the size of this hurricane. I mean, just the eye of the storm is 2 times the size of Bermuda. Are you confident that you're prepared? Water source in the region, is that right?
That's correct. We did.
With a bad storm and now this.
You know, Bermudians are resilient and
so scary. The hairs on my arms are raising just thinking about it. So you don't have basements there. I guess there's no capability there, right?
That's correct. And actually, in the eye of the storm,
we'll be thinking about you. We'll be covering this storm diligently. Also, as it reaches Canadian soil as well over the weekend, we've poured many resources to cover this story. Thank you so much to Vanessa for sharing her story. And of course, more storm watch coverage of Hurricane Gonzalo continues here at the Weather Network. Don't go anywhere.
You were talking to a woman who lives in Bermuda, and she was talking about still cleaning up from the last round of storms.
I know. It's definitely not a good situation. You feel so horrible for these people. Of course, they are used to tropical storms of this nature, but the magnitude and the size of this one is certainly something else. So we're keeping our fingers crossed for our friends in Bermuda. In the meantime, we're also keeping our fingers crossed for you along the BC coast. It is windy, and there's plenty of rain coming down. Rainfall warnings up and down the coast, as you can see. Well, it's more so further inland sections of the central coast where we're picking up in excess of 50 millimeters of rain. And then in terms of wind speeds, we're talking about winds in excess of 70 kilometers an hour. So just a broken down look at how much rain we are expected. Areas marked in red here. Could be picking up to 100 millimeters of rain in the next 24 hours. For Metro Vancouver, also a fair amount, between 35 and 45 mils just today. Cars that were submerged underwater yesterday, right on time for the evening commute. It was just a mess in downtown Toronto yesterday, and some weather stations had recorded 90 millimeters of rain in a very short period of time, and more rain to come. Really, Northern Ontario, we do have some rainfall warnings there, but that trough you saw across the Southern Ontario region, that's for this evening in the overnight hours. The rain will be subsiding by the morning, but just about 10 millimeters of rain here. So they're just still reeling from that, now preparing for the next hurricane, and this one's a biggie, that's for sure. Thanks to Nat for that. Now, Como, as well as Forestville, yeah, you're still picking up 40 to 50 millimeters of rain on top of all the rain that you had received, because I know it's been rainy there for some time. Wreck House. Winds, we do have that wind warning there, so winds in excess of 100K as well as what we're expecting. And by the way, that's not Hurricane Gonzalo winds. That's from this low pressure system that's moving in. So we have a number of weather stories at play here. To the north of Ontario, also copious amounts of rain, an additional 40 millimeters of rain throughout the day as well for the Kapuskasing area all the way through to Moosonee. Not quite into that warning, but you do have a special weather statement in place. Now, yesterday we had special weather statements in place for southern Ontario for land spouts, which we did end up seeing. We have video of that. We could show you that throughout the show, but we also had localized flooding before. I got caught in it on the Gardner Expressway yesterday, right around the commute. Not good. Now people, well, they're cleaning up. After that, the water has subsided, but again, still additional rainfall amounts. Less than 10 millimeters of rain, though, for you in southern Ontario, with another trough of instability coming through this evening. Now, you in BC, I know you've seen copious amounts of rain already. Still more rain to come. In fact, we do have a rainfall warning for the Central Coast, as well as wind warnings to Vancouver Island, the Sunshine Coast as well, and we're seeing winds in excess of 70K. It's already been so very windy, potentially damaging winds. And meanwhile, here's a legend indicating how much rain that we can still expect through your Saturday as well for you along the BC coast, hanging on to those umbrellas. But the good news is that tomorrow is going to be a far more settled day. Just isolated showers. Doesn't that sound nice after all of this? Just isolated showers for Metro Vancouver. And then here's a closer look at that wind warning. So they are southeasterly winds, and they are gusting well over 70 kilometers per hour, and especially more exposed areas. You're getting hit pretty hard with that. More storm watch coverage continues as Gonzalo nears. Looks like Hurricane Gonzalo will be making our next installment of Force of Nature Extended. We have live team coverage now that are basically waiting for the storm to arrive in Newfoundland. And right now, it's a Category 3 hurricane. Sustained winds of about 205 km, and it's traveling north-northeast at 26 kilometers an hour, and it's expected to take a direct hit at Bermuda. Now, later on in the show, you're going to be hearing an interview with myself. I got to speak to a local resident who's preparing for the storm. And it's just scary stuff just days after Tropical Storm Faye hit the same region. Now, how will this impact us here at home? Well, current models are suggesting, and hopefully this will play out like this, that the majority of the storm is going to track to the east of the Avalon. And if it does so, then the majority of the winds are going to be to the north and the east of the Avalon. But if it tracks a little bit to the west, then we could be in trouble. In any case, we will be seeing rain and we will be seeing active weather for some time throughout the weekend, especially throughout your Sunday and your Monday as well, with moisture following in behind that. So an active weekend in store for you in the Atlantic. And of course, we'll have more about this coming up throughout the show. Meanwhile, we do have wind warnings and rainfall warnings for the BC coast. It has been very active, to say the least. Winds in excess of 70 kilometers an hour, as well an additional 40 to 50 millimeters of rain to inland sections of the central coast. It's been just that active, and more rain on top of that. 60 to 100 millimeters of rain set to come to places where we're marked in red here on this map, and this is through your Saturday. Metro Vancouver picking up a fair amount of rain as well, up to 60 millimeters, and we're not ruling out the possibility of localized flooding, especially to the central coast. Meanwhile, have a look at your wind warning, I should say. Again, winds in excess of 70 km. Already we've been seeing winds in excess of 100. So right just after the evening commute, a good 90 millimeters of rain fell in some places, and still more to come. More on this coming up.